This evening, Congressman Chuck Edwards is getting back to work. It comes after keeping his seat as the representative for the North Carolina's 11th district.
With the election over, Edwards is turning his attention back to making sure Western North Carolina receives the help we need as the region rebuilds from Helene.
Representative Edwards says that while there are some areas where you can look out and see a sense of normalcy, we don't have to go far to see that so much of this region is still far from normal.
So if you'll join me in a moment of silence.
A victory speech that started with a moment of silence for those still reeling from the damage done.
For the last 5.5 weeks, I have honestly been oblivious to the fact that there was an election coming up.
Edwards suspended his campaign just days after the storm hit, saying his focus was on rebuilding this area.
I just could not, in good conscience, go knock on doors and ask people for money and all that sort of thing while so much of Western North Carolina was hurting.
And this focus on rebuilding our region, Edwards says, will only get stronger as he heads back to D.C.
You've watched your tax dollars be sent down to the Gulf Coast with Texas, Louisiana, and Florida and Georgia, and helped victims of hurricanes. Well, by George, now Western North Carolina needs help from America, and my feet are going to be planted firmly on the House floor, demanding that it is our turn to be recognized.
Raised in these mountains, Edwards says he has a real love and passion to not let the people here be forgotten.
And I've brought many of my friends from Congress down here so that they could see firsthand what it is that we're dealing with.
And plans to bring more leaders from both sides of the aisle.
Because they're not going to believe what we have gone through by just looking at the photos that I'll take to Washington, D.C.
Edwards believes there is a lesson to be learned from all of this.
There are times we can set aside our political differences and work to better the lives here in Western North Carolina.
And with Trump as president-elect, Edwards says his hope is that they will be able to work together to not only get this country as a whole back on track, but to be able to deliver promises to the people right here in Western North Carolina. In Asheville, I'm Taylor Thompson, News 13.